Good afternoon, everyone. It's Shamila Ramjawan coming to you from the Red Corner Chat. And this afternoon, wow, I've got the gorgeous Ella Mthethwa. Ella is the founder of Elegance Wellness Boutique, an organization on a mission of building healthy communities across South Africa and beyond through holistic health and wellness programs. She's an entrepreneur, healthy lifestyle coach, marketing strategist, motivational speaker, radio contributor, freelance writer, and lots more. So we're going to get to know Ella a little bit more. How are you?
Yes. Thank you so much for that introduction, and thank you so much for having me on your very much needed platform. I want to congratulate you, really, Dr. Shamila, for what you are doing for the community and what you're doing for the women out there. You know, giving us a platform where we can present ourselves. So that's the first thing I'd like to say. Thank you so much for that, and thanks so much for having me.
It's only a pleasure. So just tell me, what inspired you to do the dress up today? Because I just feel so underdressed right now.
You know, people who know me know that it's just my personality. I'm very bright person. I like to bring light into the lives of others. But I'm also very proudly African. So you will find that even if you go through my Facebook or any of the other platforms where I present myself, most of the time I do, you know, wear my traditional garb because it makes me feel grounded. Makes me feel grounded. It makes me feel confident, and I'm proud to showcase to the world, you know, the bright, beautiful colors and the richness and the wealth of our culture. And a lot of it mainly is good because it's a mix. So I would have something from Kenya, for example. I have something from South Africa, and I have something that's modern African. So I love to mix and match and just play around with that. So that's just the inspiration.
Do you make a lot of those beaded jewelry yourself?
No, I don't. But what I do is I do support the local women who do. So in whether you're in Durban, at the Durban station, or you're in Pretoria, at the Zoo Lake. So for example, this one I bought in Durban, and there are others that are for example, I bought in Pretoria. So wherever I go, even in Cape Town, I've got bags, you know, those colorful beaded bags. Some of those I've bought. I try wherever I go to support the local women.
I also got a few amazing pieces, and I love wearing, you know, the African stuff because I'm proudly African, and I
exactly.
Yes, and I just feel it looks so amazing on us and on everybody that wears it because it's the colors. It's just like the Indian, you know, the Indian garments. There's a lot of color to it, the vibrance, and it just puts you in a different world altogether. It just makes you feel so good.
Yes, I know that very well. I do. I also have one or two Indian outfits that I have because, I mean, I've always said that, you know, if my spirits, there's some India spirits within me, because when I went to India, I've been to India several times, and when I just hit the ground, and you know, with India, it's either you love it or you don't. But when I hit the ground, it was very much a spiritual journey. And so even when I bought those garments and I brought them back, I was like, oh my goodness, I love the food because I'm vegetarian, I'm pescatarian, I don't eat meat.
Well, you're just like me, I'm also pescatarian.
Oh, yay! So you would know that when you go to India, you get the best of, it's the best of your vegetarian dishes. And of course, it's not a myth that the Indian cuisine and Indian foods are not as, you know, oily as, you know, as they are here in South Africa. So as a health fanatic, I was very comfortable, I mean, to indulge in India. So yeah.
We're gonna get
just, you know, just
being the dietitian.
Yeah, so that's an appreciation.
Yes.
Sorry.
No, sorry, I'm talking over you. Sorry, apologies.
No problem. I was saying it's all an appreciation of culture. That's what it is.
Absolutely. So we're going to get into talking about you being a dietitian, and you're going to give us some tips as well, because I love that. I
Yes,
love the healthy eating and just staying fit and healthy. But just going
yes.
back a little bit, do you maybe want to take us through exactly who you are, where you were born, a little bit about your culture, anything that you want to add?
Yes, so I'm quite an interesting character in the sense that well, firstly, I always start off by it clearly indicating that I'm a child of God, because that's what really grounds me and keeps me rooted. I was born with a family of within a Christian family, so that's where sort of my value system comes from. Born and bred in KZN, so I'm a true KZN girl, born in Maritzburg.
I'm
Uh,
from Maritzburg. I am from
oh,
Maritzburg.
whereabouts in Maritzburg?
Well, formerly from Northdale, and then married and moved to Raystop.
Oh, okay. I actually, at some point in my life, stayed in the famous Bombay Road.
Wow, that's awesome. That is actually not too far away from where I was.
Yes. So I was born and bred in Maritzburg, went to school in, I'm sure you know, even my high school, Haythorne High School.
Oh, I'm
I'm
from
sure
Woodlands, actually. I schooled at
we used
Woodlands.
to, oh, so we used to play sports against each other.
Well, I played
Um,
netball, but then I remember I'm much older than you are.
no, no, no. I just turned 50.
Oh my
Going on
goodness.
15. Going on 15.
Oh, okay. Love that.
So I was born and bred in. I'm a KZN girl. But my basic sort of learning, my basic, career started off as a dietitian. So I studied dietetics at the University of Natal, and I then went on to work as a dietitian. And very interesting enough, I worked at several hospitals as a dietitian, but I also then became a soldier. So you're looking at an officer,
My
a former
goodness.
officer.
Wow.
Yes. So I've been a soldier. I was in the military, in the medical services. So I've served my country well. But I suppose that's where, my discipline, my appreciation for discipline and all of that was inculcated, you know. Um, and then thereafter, I joined several corporate companies. So I joined Nestle. I've worked for corporate companies such as Nestle. I've worked for Kraft Foods. I've worked for Nivea, the makers of Nivea. So, and there I've literally worked as a market. That's where I worked within marketing, and really climbed the ladder within that marketing sphere. And I've always said that it's very important for someone who to have a job and a passion. So that's where I veered more towards the wellness element. And that's basically who I am. I'm also a mother. I've got a daughter called Mbali. Her full name is Mbale Ntle, which means beautiful flower. So
Wow.
my mom-in-law, contrary to popular belief that mothers-in-law can be nasty, my
I
mom-in-law,
don't think so. Not all of them. Come on now.
not all of them are. So my mom-in-law called her Balente because she believes that a beautiful flower was brought in from another land. And that beautiful flower was obviously me.
Oh, wow.
So
Yes,
it was,
of course. Has to
of
be.
course it was me. And I've got a little grandson. His name is Mfundo, which means education and knowledge. So, and I mean, my world really revolves around them and the work that I do, within the community. And I've got a lot, as a person, I'm very nurturing in terms of spirits. I've got a lot of people, if you check my Facebook page, you'll see a lot of people call me either Ma or Mami, because I've got a lot of adopted kids or youth, young women, young men, whom I've sort of, brought into the fold. So I mentor and I coach them because it's really all about ensuring or trying to get them to be the best version of themselves. So that's me. I'm very much nurturing spirit. I believing in serving others, and that's who I am.
And where are you living now?
Well, I always say that I'm either like a gypsy or a nomad or whatever it is. My house is in Pretoria, but I do a lot of business and a lot of my work in the KZN region, because I believed I wanted to sort of kickstart the passion that I have. I wanted to kickstart it within the home territory, where I know a lot of people. So I didn't believe that things would fail, but the likelihood of success, I believed, was much higher, being in sort of my hometown and my home region, which I know the length and breadth of, and I love very much. So I'm living in between all of those places.
Such a phenomenal woman. So you've been involved in Mrs. India, the pageantry. You've been involved, or did you take part in Miss Uniworld pageant?
Yes, so I started off, I'm one of those people that also really believe in the power of pageantry as an empowerment tool for women. So I entered that world of pageantry with that in mind. So the first instance where I entered that fold was as a coach. So I entered as a lifestyle coach for the Mrs. India. I think it was 2018, Mrs. India 2018. And I did like healthy lifestyle workshops for the ladies. Looking at, living a healthy lifestyle holistically, and then just helping the women to do a bit of, the ladies to do a bit of introspection in terms of where they are, in terms of their current situation at the time, and what it is that they saw as their goals in terms of living a healthy lifestyle, so that they could have an impact on their own families. So that's the role that I played, and I believe it went pretty awesome. There was a lot of depth, and a lot of the ladies unmasked a lot of things, because as you know, living a healthy lifestyle is not just about the physiology alone. It's very much about the mental health elements of as well, the psychological part of it. And I think a lot of women within the whole sort of institution of the Mrs. India, a lot of women were able to unleash, not only just come into the pageant as women, with their own rights, who are famous in their own rights, who are known or popular, who are philanthropists in their own right, but they were able to elevate that and enhance that. So it was very good to be involved in that kind of initiative. And then the following year, last year, around about this time, last year I entered the Mrs. Uniworld 2019, Mrs. Uniworld SA 2019 pageant. Very interesting to enter a pageant at my age. But I always say that I'm aging backwards. I don't know about everybody else, but I'm aging backwards.
I'm also aging backwards, so don't feel so bad about that. It's actually a good thing.
It's a good thing, yes. So we're going back. So I entered the Mrs. Uniworld. It was an amazing experience for me. I learned a lot about myself, but I learned a lot about the struggles of other women, and drew from the strengths of other women, and I managed to actually make some really good friends there, and some business partners there, because now, for instance, I've got a lady who's in Ladysmith who has become sort of, because I'm also an owner of a clothing range from
Really?
Elegance Wellness Boutique, yes. So
Okay.
activewear. So she's sort of like a satellite distributor for me, and I met her in the Mrs. Uniworld pageant, and the winners, the two winners, are also very good supporters of Elegance. Just the other day, Shannon, the Miss Uniworld, called me for an interview, and we were speaking about polycystic ovarian syndrome.
Yes.
Yes, and we spoke about that, and and I gave my input on that. So we are leveraging really on each other's skills and each other's strengths, and that all began within that setup of a pageant. And so it shows that, the world of pageantry being also helped by what's happening now locally and globally with pageants. The perceptions are really changing. And people are seeing that the women that enter those pageants are really, apart from the being beautiful, externally, it's women who are really for good forces to be reckoned with. So I entered last year and did quite well. I came out second princess, and I won the Mrs. Intellect.
Wow, congratulations.
So I won the Mrs. Intellect, and then I won the Mrs. Fitness, and then I won the Businesswoman of the Year.
Awesome.
Within that pageant. But I always say that, my goodness, winning those titles within the pageant for me was already enough, because Mrs. Intellect is important to me, fitness important to me, and the business. So it was a really almost like a scorecard for me in terms of how far I'd gotten. So very, really, really, really good, a really, really good experience. And I mean, it really presents a platform for us as women to also be role models, Shamila, because I think you've also entered. So it really presents a platform for us to also be role models to these young ladies.
No, I didn't enter that pageant. I didn't enter that pageant.
You didn't?
No,
not that one. You entered Mrs. Johannesburg.
Yes, I am Mrs. Johannesburg 2019, but I didn't enter the other pageant.
Yes, that's what I mean. I meant that you also involved in pageantry. And look at you, Dr.
Thank you. Yeah, it's quite a journey, and it actually boosts your confidence as well. But I think with most of the pageantries, like the Mrs. India, Mrs. Uniworld, Mrs. Johannesburg, Mrs. Gauteng, I'm talking about the Mrs. pageants now, not the Miss.
Yes.
A lot of them have a very similar strategy where it's beauty with a purpose. So it's, getting involved in communities and just socioeconomic involvement. So in terms of that, I would say if anybody wants to go into pageantry, do it for a good reason.
Exactly. Because, I mean, you touched very much on a very valid point in terms of being involved in the community. And that's where my passion really also lies, because it's one thing to be a marketing strategist and a businesswoman and the likes, but my upbringing and my inner being is about serving the community, and genuinely so. The others, like the misses, the titles and all of that, come as a bonus. The financial benefits and all of that come as a bonus. So that's awesome at the end of the day. However, the most important element for me has always been about impacting lives, making a difference in the lives of others. And that's why I've really been completely involved in community work. And I started that fairly early. Like I started when I was a dietitian at the military. I didn't have much time, because when you're within the military, you work really hard. Not that you don't work hard in other places, but with the military, the way that it works is that you're first a soldier, then you function. So if there's other extra sort of service that is required, that requires the soldier in you, whether it's weekends or after hours, then you would need to participate. But when I joined the corporate world and I was able to manage my time a little better, I spent a lot of time within the community using the skill set that I have, which is the core, which is obviously where I just studied to be a dietitian. And it's very much the dietetic element and the health professional element side of things. So, but when I worked as a dietitian, what I found, Shamila, was that, when you're working with clients, you're finding that the clients whether they're diabetic or they have heart disease or they've got hypertension, on a one-on-one basis, yes, they will comply, but after a while, the compliance levels would dip and the person would revert back to old behaviors. So And it prompted me to look at what the root cause of that was. And what it basically was the fact that the general family and the community didn't really have buy into this person's need for a change in lifestyle. And then I thought, you know what, me as an individual, I need to go and be one of those people that begins to encourage change in behavior within families and within communities. So right within the families and communities, so that the people that come through into the therapeutic setting are actually supported by these communities, so that when they go back home, we don't say the person is diabetic and then someone suddenly brings out a huge cake.
Yes, true.
You know what I mean? Being insensitive. And then I speak to the person and we talk about the fact that, listen, your weight now is becoming a debilitating factor. You've got arthritis, you've got, some sort of bone disease, and we might have gout, and you've got a problem with your feet. Your weight is becoming a problem. We need to work on it. And next thing you know, there's amagwinya, fat cook, there's all sorts of things. So people become, because they don't understand. So now my theory was, let me go into the community, let me work with the communities, so that people are supported. So I've done this on a national basis. I've been conducting what I've called family boot camps. Family boot camps for the last 5 years. And of course, I started in Maritzburg, and I called it the homecoming. At the YMCA in Maritzburg, I called it the homecoming, because that was the objective, to start at home. They say charity. And then we also went to Wadley Stadium. We had almost over 500 people within the stadium. And when I say families, I mean mom, dad, gogo, mkulu, everybody needed to come through. And I had the awesome news was that I came with people that were very much aligned in terms of my thinking. So other trainers and other individuals within the communities, like the people in the churches. So it was almost like a cluster mentality, because I would also go into the communities and tell them, this is what I'm trying to do. I went onto the local radio station, to announce that this is what I'll be doing. It's for free, and it's for the community. And this is the objective. It's to ensure that we promote this healthy living. We promote living this healthy lifestyle, so that, all these diseases don't come into the risk. We reduce the risk factors of all these diseases, like your obesity, your hypertension, the ones that I've sort of mentioned. So, it was actually such a pleasant surprise, Shamila, because even people with wheelchairs started coming to these. That with the wheelchair association, the local wheelchair association, they said, you know what, we're also coming. And I obviously had to be very creative then, in terms of the exercises. And I always say it's a God. When you go with God's flow, God gives you the ideas. And I would be able to get them to exercise as well. And it was loads of fun. So it's good family fun, encouraging families to exercise together, encouraging families to make the right decisions about food choices together in that setup. So even, interesting ideas on how you can use your child as a piece of equipment, like especially the tinier ones where, the kids where you use them to do lifts, things like that. So it was a whole lot of fun.
I wish I had those.
You wish I had those live lifts. Yeah. So I've been all over the country. I think except for one province. Oh yes.
This is what I do all the time. It's by my bedside. It's by my chair. Whenever I sit, this is what I'm doing. So people come.
Oh no, that's awesome. No, that's awesome.
This is 4 kgs, guys. So it's like, just exercise.
How many kgs? How many kgs is that?
4.
Oh no, that's good. So you exchange them equally between the two hands.
Yes, I just do it like this, you know, so I'm like
No,
trying
it's
to
good.
shape up.
Yeah, no, that's really, really good. But I mean, that's very good, because the other element that I also harp on during these boot camps is I harp on the fact that you don't have to go to the gym to be healthy. You don't. If
Yes, you
you've got
can
a
provide your membership.
yeah, gyms are going to be very they're going to struggle quite a bit now. The only really good reason for going to the gym is the element of community, and the element of accountability. Because once you start going, especially if you're living single, um, or you're alone most of the time, because at least when you go to the gym, you start becoming a community, and people start asking, what happened to you yesterday? Are you slacking? Are you
Yes.
starting to slack? So then that accountability factor comes into play, which I always also encourage people to do. Get a few friends that you can go to the gym with, and if not, 10 to 1, you'll find that there are others who have similar interests to you in the gym, and you'll be surprised that people are watching. Like, I think I went missing for about a week. I went to Cape Town on one of these boot camps, because I also do, there was, for the last 10 years, I've been going to the Mitchell's Plain Festival, and it's attended by over 40,000 people. Literally over 40,000 people. I didn't believe it, but I saw it with my own eyes. It's a huge explosion of people that gathered together. This year, it's obviously not going to take place. So I was there, and we do like a huge boot camp on the Sunday of that event. So I was there, and when I came back the Monday, I was like, where were you? So, and that actually makes you accountable, because you wake up in the morning, you're like, oh, I don't really want to go, but you end up going. The other thing that I normally advise when it comes to fitness, when it comes to gym, is what I did was, I didn't enjoy gym before. Either, number one, do what you do enjoy, dancing, because there's Zumba now, there's Bollywood aerobics, there's all of that now that one can join. And then secondly, what I did is I took it like one step at a time. My first objective in the early days was to just show up in the gym. Literally, I would say, just get to the door of the gym. Wake up, get to the door, and it actually worked, because they say that it's not a cliche. They say that after 21 days, it becomes a habit. So I kept on going to the gym. I didn't care too much about what I did inside the gym, but it became a habit. And then I started becoming a lot more, a lot more tougher on myself, in terms of stricter on myself, in terms of what it is that I went and I did in the gym. Because then I had objectives in terms of my fitness levels. I had objectives in terms of my health, but I also had objectives in terms of being a good example. And all these things were happening in tandem. So the more healthier I was becoming, the more comfortable I was also becoming about also moving into new spheres. So for example, I moved from just being a dietitian, and I studied further, and became a lifestyle coach. So a lifestyle coach, and I studied fitness. I did a course on fitness for a postgrad diploma on fitness. Over and above that, to ensure that then I become a fitness coach as well, and a fitness coach that is accessible. So young people can come to me, older people can come to me, comfortable, and that's why even within the boot camps, we also had people at different levels of fitness. So you could be a beginner, and then we would put you on at a certain section. If it's kids, a certain section, and they would have their own specific trainer who works on them. So that's basically what I've been doing in the community. And then the other thing is being on radio. I've been on radio, on several radio stations, giving advice on healthy eating. like I was talking very much about bone health earlier on, and that's because this morning I was on Inanda FM, and I dwell a lot in terms of the vernacular stations, the community stations, because I believe that, you know, to make a change, you really need to drill down to communities. It's well and good to go to these big radio stations and the likes. They have all these numbers and all of that. But at some point, I was going to like 3 or 4 of these community radio stations, and I believe in the power of working with community elements and grassroots elements. And so this morning I was talking about osteoporosis and nutrition, because a lot of people don't talk about it. I mean, there are a lot of myths about that being a sort of like a Caucasian, mainly Caucasian condition. But there are a lot of people that have osteoporosis in the other groups. So, and in general, it's very important for people to look after our framework, because the skeleton is our framework. And it becomes.
Sorry to cut you off there. You just need to tell them to drink more milk.
Yes. Good for you.
They need the calcium.
Yes, they need the calcium. People need the calcium. But do you know how many people do not drink milk? There's a lot of people who don't drink milk. But apart from that, in some of the ethnic groups, there's lactose intolerance.
Yes, well, I have that condition. I've got IBS, and I can't drink the normal milk. I've got to have no lac and stuff like that. All the special milks and special dairy.
Yes. So that's what dietitians do. So we look. The job of a dietitian really is to look at the individual, look at the person's demographics, male, female, gender, or what have you. Look at the person's lifestyle. Look at the person's historical data in terms of was there cancer in the family? Did the person have irritable bowel syndrome? And then in terms of lifestyle, are they living in a stressful environment? Are they working in a stressful environment? Because some people's appetite and the way of eating is very much impacted upon by stress. Some people overeat when they're stressed. Some people don't eat enough when they're stressed. So that gives way to sort of malnutrition in the extreme, whether it's overnutrition or undernutrition. So, and that's what dietitians look at. They look at the individual. But obviously, there are different sectors within the dietitian field. You'll find that community, I delve in a bit of the community, but there's also the therapeutic side where I look at diabetics, I look at weight management, people with hypertension, and recently I've started like family therapy, because like I've said, my passion is very much around changing the norm in the way that we work as dietitians. So looking at family therapy, and I'm mobile, so I go to the family, have a look at what do they have in their pantry. Do some of the families even have gyms within their homes? Yes. And then look at the equipment, and 10 to 1, I'm telling you, most of those families aren't even using the equipment. So encouraging the families to make use of the equipment. So even I even delve into styling of looking at styling of the gym, where I like advise the family to like, listen, why don't you put like motivational quotes? What is it that's causing you not to use your gym? Is it maybe your schedule? What is the issue? Looking at those root causes, and then looking at the individual sort of goals within the family and trying to merge those into an eating plan that will work for the whole family. So that's what I do as Elegance.
So what actually inspired? I'm not going to ask you what inspired you. I can see the passion that's coming out. Where exactly is this? Do you have a physical premises, or is it online? How do you operate?
So it's very much, I'm a mobile unit, and I operate online. I had a page that was Elegance Wellness Boutique, a Facebook page, but you know what happens sometimes with pages? You might have a problem, So I closed that page and I'm starting a new one. So people need, what I encourage people to do is to follow me as an individual for now on Facebook as Ella Ford Mthethwa. And that's where I conduct my business and I promote elegance. And then I've also got an Instagram page, which is elegance_wellness_boutique. So that's basically where I am, and I'm contactable on the phone as well. So that's basically what I do. But for this coming year, there's so much that I have in store for the people out there, because as you know, with this COVID-19, what it's really highlighted to all and sundry is the importance of us looking after ourselves from a healthy lifestyle perspective. This has been really a shocker for a lot of people, but I believe it also presents an opportunity for us to, as individuals and as families, to do better for ourselves, so that we can do better for our families. And fair enough, it's in most families it's driven by women, but the whole family needs to pitch in. And the thing is, it's very much an individual thing. We need to look after ourselves. Unfortunately, when you look at the statistics globally, when you look at the fatalities, the major trend has been that the most fatalities have been men. So because of the mere fact, several reasons, it was one of the topics that I dealt with earlier on when this virus, came into being. The fact that a lot of the fatalities are men, and that's because when it comes to men aren't as sort of fussy as we are, or attuned to themselves in terms of their health as we are. They don't listen to their bodies as much as we are, and they don't fuss around the kids as much as we do when it comes to health. So a guy will, a man will, keep it in. You won't know that, the guy is not well, because it's like, oh no, man, it's just a headache. To him, it doesn't register that it might just be a tumor. It might be X, it might be Y. You need to go and get it checked. And when it comes to like regular checkups, like checking up for prostate cancer and checking up for breast cancer, because men are also getting breast cancer. Something that the men out there are not aware of. And just doing like your regular parameters in terms of checking your blood sugar levels, checking your blood pressure, all of that. A lot of men aren't attuned to that kind of behavior. So it's become really important for me to talk about that and to go into families and to just highlight the fact that, listen, as a family, it's a family effort. Let everybody be involved and engaged in this, so that we can call each other out as a family. If one is the other one is slacking, it's either you call each other out depending on the family dynamics. Other families are more softer. They would be like, "What's wrong? What do you need?" And others, like the men, are like, "Come, don't be lazy."
Yeah, I think what I actually got out of that message that you just mentioned now is, do not ignore any symptoms. Because if you have something that's bothering you, even a slight headache or something that could get severe, if you have a continuous headache for going on to over a week or so, go and check it out, because you never know what the underlying conditions are, or what you have, what you're suffering with, because our bodies are so small and we never know what's going on inside. So
exactly.
Yeah, so it's exactly important to just go and check it out and get a doctor's opinion and go and have the necessary test, just to make sure that you're okay. Because you cannot say it's got anything to do with age, race, gender. It's like COVID came and attacked us all. It could be anybody at any time. We've
true.
lost close families and friends, and we now have to take heed and just go and get those tests done.
Yeah, it's time to change. It really is time to change behavior when it comes to our health, especially because when one looks at the statistics of the various conditions. So for example, something like diabetes. What people don't know is another half of people that have what we call pre-diabetes. So they're really on the cusp of diabetes. They don't know that they have it. So it's called pre-diabetes. So they might display the symptoms and they were like, no, I can't be, you know. And then one day the person goes, or the person becomes pregnant, and then suddenly they find out that they're diabetic. So it's very important to live a life that is preventative from the onset. Live a life that is preventative, so that you just living a healthy lifestyle becomes just a habit, and it's something that we inculcate from an early age. Like for example, kids. I also did before the COVID-19. I also did kids boot camps in schools. Talk to kids. Tell them, ask your mommy to give you water, so that you can drink water. Make sure that you don't go and play in the sun, you know, at certain times between 9 o'clock and 3 o'clock when the sun is really out. Things like that. Teaching kids life skills that are aligned to living a healthy lifestyle from an early age, so that this behavioral change becomes a habit for them. So
Yes.
it's something that they can do. Yeah, so it becomes a habit really early, and they can pass it on from generation to generation.
Absolutely.
And in that way, we're not only bringing up healthy children, but we're also bringing up children that are well balanced. You know, children that are well balanced, because being unhealthy and being is very stressful. Being in an unhealthy situation is very stressful, and sometimes you can't become the person that you could potentially be if you're feeling sick all the time, if you're feeling tired all the time.
Yes,
And I guess, yes, and I guess that's where elegance came from, because you would have noticed that Ella is elegance.
Yes, I saw that and I just thought, oh my goodness, so creative. Well done on that. But Ella, we're running out of time. I've got another meeting coming up. But
No
it was so
problem.
awesome chatting to you. Your last message in 30 seconds.
So my last message really is, you know what, we have the choice to become the best that we can be. I have a painting behind me. I don't know if the people will see it.
Yes, we can.
Our lives are in God's hands. We are very delicate. Our lives are very delicate. Our lives are in God's hands, but it's up to us what we do with our lives. We need to make the right choices for ourselves. We need to make the right choices for our families, so that we can live longer and we can impact our communities positively. Thank you so much.
Awesome, Ella. Thank you so much for coming on board and chatting to me. You are so inspirational, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to pick up lots from you. I'm going to speak to you because I want some pescatarian recipes.
Oh, no problem. You're welcome. Thank you so much.
Take care. All the best.
Thank you. Same to you. Bye.
Bye.